Previously on Living Free Alaska, Gary and I headed south back to the lower 48 to move my mom north to Alaska to begin living with us. However, a chain of events began to unravel almost immediately after our arrival into town, and our lives changed forever in an instant.
Well, that's a start. A bit more to go. Not a whole bunch, and not what we really wanted, but it's a start.
Well, good Monday morning.
Hello, folks. Good morning. Yeah, where to start?
Where
This
to-
one.
where to start?
This is a tough one right here.
Oh my goodness.
A lot has been going on in the last couple of weeks here. A lot way beyond our control or thoughts.
Or comprehension.
Comprehension, that point, yeah.
In our last video, you saw that we were driving south to get my mom and bring her home north to Alaska with us. And we arrived on August 22nd. And just to give you a little time update today, of course, the minute hand is covering.
It is September 9th.
It's already the 9th. Oh my gosh. So we got here on August 22nd, and it was a Thursday evening. We pulled in about 5:30. My mother was not home when we got here. She was taking her dog Newman to the vet to go through the necessary paperwork to take him north to Alaska.
Yeah.
She got here about 6, and as soon as she pulled into the driveway, I gave her a big hug. We took that selfie that I've posted on social media.
Oh, she was all smiles and happies and giggles and hugs and cries and tears, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was a great evening.
So we came into the house and just chatted for about 2 hours. And about 8 o'clock, we realized none of us had dinner. And so Gary and I excused ourselves to the motorhome, which is parked in the driveway. And we made our dinner and settled in for the night. And Mom made her dinner and settled in for the night. And we went to bed. Everything was normal. The next morning, Friday the 23rd, I got a text message from my mother saying, "The back door is open. I can't breathe."
That was hard to receive. That was tough.
So I quickly got dressed, and we're just in the driveway. So I run in, and Mom was really having a hard time breathing. And the story behind that is 6 weeks prior, she had just been diagnosed with throat cancer. Now, for several years, she's had a giant goiter, a cyst, a benign cyst,
Right.
on this side of her neck, and she had been losing her voice. And she thought this goiter was causing her breathing problems, as well as her voice problems. 2 years she went with losing her voice, and finally in June, she started going through the process of going to an actual ENT doc and seeing what was wrong. Well, in early July, she had a biopsy, CT scan biopsy, and they noticed there was a nodule on her vocal cords. So this explained why she was losing her voice for 2 years. It wasn't the goiter, it was cancer.
And you had said that the cancer was actually physically affecting the vibrations of the voice box itself.
Yes, so when they went in and did a biopsy, they noticed that one of her vocal cords was completely dead. It was no longer vibrating, and that was the reason why she was having a diminished voice. Well, within the past week, she started having breathing problems. She could breathe in, but she was really having trouble exhaling and getting that breath out. And that is what she was experiencing Friday morning. Previously, so we left on Sunday. Sunday night, early Monday morning, she was also having the same problem. She called a neighbor. The neighbor took her into the ER, and she sat in the waiting room for over 4 hours before being seen. So because knowing that, on Friday morning, I'm like, "Mom, let's call an ambulance. You'll most likely be seen quicker, and we still had lots to do."
Yeah.
I mean, we had no idea she was practically on her deathbed. So we called an ambulance, and the fire station is very close. So they were here within minutes, and an ambulance came in, and Mom physically walked out of the house. As you could see in our video, she walked down the stairs into the gurney stretcher, gave me kissed us goodbye. She was smiling. She was worried about how much the ambulance was going to cost. And I told her, don't worry about it.
I need to get you there.
So Gary and I shortly followed. Gary took me down to the hospital, and she did get back into a room immediately. They started giving her breathing treatments, did some x-rays, as well as some EKGs. Now, during this time...
Well, I was just going to say, back up a little bit, a few days on our travels down here through Canada, Spirit, she's been having chronic ear infections over the past year. And as we were going through Canada, there was a major inflammation of this ear infection and caused the ear canal to blockage in the ear canal, and the infection was just spreading into her face. And we noticed on, I think it was Saturday, or maybe Friday, her face was starting to swell up.
It was Friday, actually Thursday, because Friday you took her to the vet here in Spokane.
Her face was actually swelling up, and we could see a noticeable bulge, abscess kind of thing. So I made a vet appointment to go get it checked out, and we went to a local place up here, and they gave me some medication and some ear drops, but really didn't do anything to that. So with everything that was happening with Paula, unfortunately, we kind of had to put Spirit to the side a little bit on Saturday, and didn't notice.
Friday. Well, I was
Friday,
at the
yeah,
ER.
Friday. You were at the ER.
I was at the ER with Mom. You were at the vet with Spirit. Once we got done with the vet, then you came down and spent the rest of the day with us in the ER. Now, still on Friday, Mom was normal.
Oh, she was chatty.
We had a lot of good talks. We had a lot of hard talks. The hospital made us have some even more difficult talks, such as code response, DNRs, etc. So we had some healthy conversation about end of life if, for some reason, we ended up there. Again, never thought what happened would happen. During her testing, they found that she had had a slight or a mild heart attack. This was not due to a blockage in the heart, but more lack of oxygen, which would totally make sense with her breathing issues. So because of the mild heart attack, they wanted to keep her overnight for observation. Understandable. So we had to wait all day in the ER, literally all day. We got there at 9 a.m. or 9:30. She didn't get a room upstairs until 7 p.m. The nice thing is she had her own private room in the ER. We were allowed to have visitors. So Gary, myself, and then my best friend, who is a nurse practitioner, also came in and sat with us for the day. Got Mom moved upstairs at about 7, and she was in a shared room. So we didn't stay long. It just felt weird. But Mom was fine. She was normal. She hadn't had anything to eat the entire day because they didn't know if she was going to have surgery or whatever. So when they finally got her upstairs, they gave her food, and she wanted pudding.
And popsicles. She was so excited to have pudding and popsicles.
She was like a little kid.
She was.
So we gave her a kiss goodnight and said goodbye, and I told her I'd see you in the morning.
Yep.
And when we got home, she was texting me, asking how her dog Newman was doing, if he was whiny, and we had brought him into the motorhome with us, and he was obviously he saw Mom leave in an ambulance, and she didn't come home with us. So
he doesn't know what an ambulance is. But
Mom left. Didn't come back.
We came back, and she didn't come back with us.
So he was a little needy and whiny, and so we made him comfortable. Throughout the night, I kept checking my mom's chart because I had access to it, and I didn't understand everything. But in the morning when I woke up, I texted her and I said, "How are you feeling this morning? Did you get a good night's rest?" And there was no response.
Yeah, that was about around 7:30. Texted her.
Yeah, and
8 o'clock came.
Normally at that hour, she would have been awake.
Yeah.
And, on Facebook Messenger, you can see if someone's opened up the phone and read it, and it had not been responded to or read. So then I told Gary, he was making breakfast, and I'm like, we need to get down to the hospital. Plus her ENT surgeon, oncologist surgeon, was supposed to come by during rounds and check in on her. And I wanted to be there for that. So we got down to the hospital about 9 a.m. because we had to finish breakfast. No one had called us, so we didn't think anything was horrible. As soon as we walked into Mom's room, we knew things had gone south. 3 doctors were currently on rounds and standing outside of my mom's room when we walked in. And then they quickly realized we were family and surrounded us and said, we need to make some big choices rather fast. That's when I realized things were bad. I mean, looking at my mom, I knew at that point she was unresponsive. She was having trouble breathing. And my life was about to change.
Well, and they gave us 15 minutes to make a decision. We were both taken back with that. How do you make a decision like that in 15 minutes? So Stacey got on the phone, called the people she needed to call. Paula's best friend was with her, came down, and her sister also was called, and she came down to the hospital as well.
And then our best friends, Jeff.
Our best friend, Jeff and Julie, were there with
Julie,
her.
again, being a nurse practitioner, her being there was very helpful to me. But we asked the doctors to try to wake up Mom. Basically, she needed oxygen overnight, and the biggest problem, well, one, the cancer was blocking her airway, the tumor. And Mom, even though she could breathe in, she could not breathe out easily. And what was happening is the carbon dioxide from her breathing, from the oxygen, wasn't escaping. And as you know, you can get carbon dioxide poisoning, and it puts you into an unconscious state. And that's what had happened overnight so quickly. We asked the doctors if they could try to reverse that and wake her up. So they put her on a BiPAP machine to try to not only keep her oxygenated, but get the carbon dioxide out and kind of clear her mind.
The hopes was that would wake her up enough that we could communicate with her a little bit. And we wanted to try to...
I wanted to reiterate the conversations we had previously had, not only when she told me she had cancer, but she had told me several times what she wanted done. She wanted quality over quantity. She didn't want to be kept alive by artificial devices. She wanted to pass away whole, and she repetitively told me she wanted to be on palliative care and then hospice and be made comfortable and pass away peacefully. However, I was not ready to come to this conclusion that we were there.
Right.
But the doctors informed us, unfortunately, we were there. The only other thing that would save her was a very radical surgery that my mother already knew about, and she was adamant against having, and it would be removing the entire larynx, the voice box. What that would mean is she would never talk again. She would never eat again. She would be fed from a feeding tube. She would never breathe from her mouth. She would breathe from a stoma. And that was something she was not prepared to do. She did not want to do. And that is why she made the decision to come live with us in Alaska and pass away whole and be surrounded by her loved ones.
We had no idea that her passing away would happen so quickly. No thought of it at all.
So the doctors, we asked about the surgery, and they're like, this is the only thing that would save her today. And even then, she may not be strong enough. And also with the carbon dioxide poisoning, there could have already been some brain damage. But we wanted to try to wake her up, just to get that final, is this really what you want? After 2 hours of being on the BiPAP, which was probably longer than the doctors wanted, she kind of got about 1 minute of lucidity, of waking up. She acknowledged she understood us. We asked her to give us a thumbs up. She did.
She saw us all in the room. She knew who was there.
She knew who was there. And we quickly told her what was going on. She had thought maybe the goiter was causing the obstructions, but the doctors confirmed it was the tumor. It was not the goiter. We told her that, and we told her the only thing that would save her is the surgery. And if she wanted surgery, give us a thumbs up. And she went like this.
No thumbs up.
And then right after that, she lost consciousness again, unresponsive to us whatsoever. So the doctors looked at us, and we had some hard conversations. But I, in the end, had to honor my mother's wish and give her that palliative and then hospice care all in 3 hours. So I asked the doctors to make her
comfortable.
As comfortable as possible so she didn't suffer, because she was having still that breathing issue. And so they brought in the morphine and
they removed the BiPAP machine, so she was just on a little bit lower dose of oxygen. And they brought in morphine. That just helps relax the body. She wasn't struggling to breathe as much. And then it was just a time is all we had.
3 hours.
3 hours was very surprising.
And her lungs gave out before her heart, which was really hard to watch. But I know she is in a better place. And I thank God that He got us here in time. We weren't even supposed to leave Alaska until September 12th. But something in us told us, let's just go now. And thank God we did. We got here literally
in time, right in time.
Less than 48 hours before she was gone. And she was surrounded by those who loved her. And I couldn't imagine had she been alone. I mean, I just can't imagine. So now our lives are forever changed. We are obviously
still at Mom's house.
Still here. We have to take care of her affairs, her possessions. And yeah, I don't know when we're going to get home.
Hopefully another couple of weeks. But we've had to the house. She's lived here for 34 years. This has been her pride and joy. She's loved this home. And with that, she's gathered quite a few belongings. And there's also some other relations in her life that have passed on, that some of their stuff is still here as well. So we're going through the house and separating trash from treasure kind of stuff, and trying to make sense of what is here. I believe we have an estate sale set up for this coming weekend. And at that point, we hope that most of the rest of the belongings will be removed from the house.
We've come up with a good game plan. Our niece, Gary's niece, is going to be moving in and renting the house while we process all this. Right. So we're not rushed for that.
We don't want to rush into a sale real quick in this time period. We don't have enough time to put it up for sale. And having somebody in the house over winter time is huge for us. A lived-in house is much better than a vacant house.
And not only is it helping us, it's helping our niece.
Sure. Yep.
She needed a new place to stay, so we'll make this work for as long as we need.
Mm-hmm.
Little Newman, come here. Let me introduce you to Newman. Come here, buddy. Newman is going to be joining our pack. He is a mini dachshund, mini doxy. Not so mini though.
I don't know what he is. 20 pounds?
He's a little chunky
guy.
He went for his first RV ride yesterday. We had to go to the dump station, and that took a little learning.
Mm-hmm.
He will definitely be belted in when we drive north back to Alaska. But so Newman is joining our pack as well as with Sophie and Spirit. So.
And he's a senior. He's an 11-year-old dachshund as well. So we have 3 senior dogs with us now, and each one of them come with their little quirks and needs and issues.
Sophie is a little jealous.
She's a little jealous because
you want to come over here with mommy.
There you go.
These two have been best pals ever since we got Sophie. Yeah. So at least they all get along. I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like Sophie on your back, do you? Okay, I'm going to put both of you down so the jealousy goes away. Update on Spirit.
Yes, so with us being gone all day Saturday in the hospital, we came back Saturday evening, and Spirit's abscess on her face had not settled at all. It had grown a little bit and was actually starting to weep fluids. So it became a bit more urgent. And then that was Saturday night. We just didn't want to go anywhere Saturday night, as you can imagine. Sunday, no vets are open really during the day. There is an emergency vet clinic in Spokane that is open from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. 7 days a week. So we had to wait till Sunday evening to take her into that pet emergency clinic. They saw her pretty quickly, and they lanced open the abscess and drained it. The vet said they took out over 3 cups of fluid from that whole abscess area. It's just disturbing. I'm sorry, Spirit, that it happened that way. But so they cut her open a little bit, 14 stitches in her face. They gave me a bunch of medications and antibiotics and wipes and all this stuff. And then follow up with a dermatology for animals facility here in Spokane. So we did that. We went to the dermatology for animals appointment a couple of days later.
Thursday after.
Thursday, yeah.
1 week after arriving in town.
Right, yeah, yep. And they looked at it and said, yeah, that was probably an ear infection, more than likely. It could have been an abscess tooth, but more than likely it was from the ear infection. So we were referred to a CT scan. However, the local place in Spokane that has a CT scan, they are currently changing out their equipment, and we're not accepting appointments. So we were referred to WSU Animal Hospital for a CT scan, and we're still waiting to hear back from that referral. So right now, Spirit's just kind of hanging out with us. I do have another appointment scheduled on Thursday again with the dermatology folks, and we'll just see what we can do in the meantime.
She is doing much better, though.
Yes.
She's spunkier. She's been on some antibiotics, and I think that's really helped.
Right.
We just removed her sutures on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
so she's doing well.
Right.
Everything's healing nice.
Everything's healing nicely. They had to shave her, as you can imagine. They had to shave the whole side of her face, so she's kind of half no fur. But it's starting to grow back nicely, and she's happier now. She was doped up on doggy trazodone for a while, just so she wasn't itching, and she had to wear the cone of shame for a week and a half.
Yeah, that was
fun for her and us. I mean, in a motorhome, it's not very large. So.
Bouncing off chairs.
But she's doing so much better now, and I'm hoping we can move forward with the dermatology for animals and get a better long-term plan for her.
So Friday, that would have been 3 days ago, we had the celebration of life for my mother here in her front yard. And it was very nice to have a lot of the neighbors and friends come and honor Mom in the best way we knew how. Even though she was a believer, church service wasn't quite what she would have wanted. No. She was a bartender, so we had a final happy hour. And we just sat around in the front yard and told stories. And I was able to give out a whole bunch of my mom's crocheted blankets to friends that had shown up that didn't have one already of hers. That's something that she did so beautifully and shared with all of my friends and her friends and even strangers.
Yeah.
So that was pretty special. So now we are just in the final phases of getting the house ready for this estate sale.
Right.
Today is the first day I've picked up the camera and just filmed a little B-roll of what it looks like around here.
It actually is cleaned up a bit now than what it was when we first came in. We've taken some of the stuff that we want out of the house, some of the stuff that Stacey was attracted to or
Well, and I just feel so blessed that we had the fourth. Well, we were moving Mom north. Right. So we have our enclosed trailers. So we do have the availability to take whatever we want to take north. I did not grow up with my mom. My dad raised me. So a lot of things in this house, I do not have a
sentimental
attachment,
right.
Which is helping. So there's very little we're taking. And a lot of it, like picture albums and all that, I'll go through once we get home.
Right. More time at home to do that stuff. So but we're just taking some of the, I think, stuff that she would want us to have. She had her own collection of boxes that were going to go north with us, and we've gone through those as well.
I'm looking forward to listening to her albums.
Oh,
she had quite the vinyl collection.
Probably a couple hundred albums, 100 records.
Yeah, it was heavy.
A lot of records.
But we'll, and we found a turntable downstairs, so it'll be neat hooking all that up and listening to her music and remembering her. But as I said, I had a hard time picking up the camera today, and I have to thank all of you for your heartfelt messages. I know last week's video was very shocking.
Yes.
This whole experience has been shocking.
The video portrayed it as it happened to us. You know, it happened just that quickly, and it was shocking, and we're still in a bit of shock and disbelief from all that. But we have to power forward.
Mom did want to share her life with you guys. She knew we lead very public lives. We were going to leave the cancer part out, but when you pass away because of the cancer, that story does come to light.
It needs to be told.
And all I can say is if you have something that seems wrong, seems off, you losing your voice, please have it checked.
Go ahead.
I wish my mom had gone to the doctor sooner. Every one of us that loved and cared for her asked her to go to the doctor. She just was afraid of doctors. She was afraid of hospitals. You know, what's happened in the past 4 years doesn't help that scariness of the medical world. But had she gone sooner, maybe there was something that could have been done. But
she started noticing her voice changed over 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And was that the cancer at that time? We don't know for sure. But
I think it was.
Highly likely that it was. So she had this cancer for over 2 years, maybe longer. And, you know, if there's an issue like that, I hope you can go to the doctor, get it checked out. Make sure it's not anything that's going to be traumatizing to your life.
But again, I just want to thank you with your patience with us and our videos. Our life has literally been turned upside down. We don't know how much longer we're going to be here. And then I think our drive home is going to be one of the longest.
It is.
And I think we're going to just take our time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just need to. Obviously, we do still need to rush and get home at some point because winter is coming.
Yep.
We have abandoned our woodshed, which we thought we'd only be gone 2 weeks, and we were going to have all of September to get our wood in order, but we can always buy wood if we need to. But we just want to thank you for all the messages and all of your prayers and your thoughts, and this adjustment with our greatest loss, and our adjustment of adding Newman to our life.
He's a tricky one.
But we thank you, and we hope to be a little more cheery in future videos. When I'm depressed, I'm not the best content creator.
Well, nobody really is.
No.
And it's very hard. It's a very touchy subject. Hard, difficult time.
Last time I got this depressed, I went offline for 3 years. I promise you I'm not going to do that here. I feel as though you are family. So you're our YouTube family, and we thank you.
You know, don't forget to hug your loved ones every day. Tomorrow is never promised. We found that out this last few weeks. Tomorrow's never promised. So hug them, kiss them, hold them. Make sure they know. I love you.
Thank you for being my rock.
Yes, I'm here for you.
There's been some times I've just had to walk away and do something else because I've been, as you can tell, an emotional mess. But
yes.
Thank you for everything.
We got to get it done. We're going to work through it.
And thank you for being that support through the TV and the phone and social media. We really do appreciate it. So until next time, if you want to stay updated with our daily lives, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be notified whenever we post next.
Which hopefully will be more regular.
Yeah.
We'll see. We still have a drive home. What's happening
Who
here?
knows what we'll share there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we've got at least 2 more weeks here in Spokane with the estate sale and
busy. Cleaning.
moving
Dump runs.
Denise in.
So, but thank you again. I know this video has been a little long. It's not used to just us sitting.
Right. A little different.
But, yeah, I don't feel like going out and being all happy and showing you Spokane because that's just not our life right now. All right, guys, until next time, live free and love on your loved ones.
Yes. Tomorrow's never promised.
Hey, I don't know if you're listening to the things I say. I've been thinking about how I let you down. Remember when I told you I thought that everything was gonna be okay? I wish I could go back, 'cause I change every single word and every mistake. Still can't let you go. I can't let you go. Even though I know you're never coming back home. flowers that I've been laying down on your grave. Still can't let you go. Remember when you told me you thought that everything was gonna be okay? Still can't let you go. I can't let you go. Even though I know you're never coming back home.
Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you are notified whenever we post again. And lastly, we hope that you will join us here next time on Living Free Alaska.